Meeple Nation Podcast, bonus episode 4, Meeple Nation Action Point Game Showdown. Ready, fight.
Finish him. It's never going to get old.
No,
it's
not.
never going to stop.
No, it's not. Get over here.
Welcome, citizens, to Meeple Nation. Grab your favorite beverage, pull up a chair, warm up those dice, and join us at the game table as we discuss board games and the board gaming world. Each week, the hosts of Meeple Nation share their love for board games and the amazing memories that come from playing games with some very outstanding people. Let us now join our hosts in their natural habitat, the game table.
The Meeple Nation podcast is sponsored by GameToppersLLC.com. We love being affiliated with Game Toppers. They make a fantastic product. Basically, you can convert any tabletop surface into an epic game table by throwing one of these toppers on top of it. They are made of military-grade aluminum, and you can get tons of accessories to go with it, including the industry's very best mats, which feature incredible art. They're 3 millimeters thick, have a stitched edge. This is something you do not want to miss out on. Go and check out GameToppersLLC.com. By the time that this episode drops, they're going to be done with their 4.0 Kickstarter, but I know they'll have late pledges and accessibility to all of the great stuff that's on there. They've got tables for kids, mats, leg kits, dining cover kits, you name it. They've got what you need to convert any space into an epic gaming space. They're awesome. So go check them out, GameToppersLLC.com.
We are the hosts of Meeple Nation. I'm Nathan Howard.
I'm Andy Holiday.
And I am Douglas Stewart.
I love that dramatic pause.
Sometimes you got to throw it in there.
Indeed. Jump on over to our website, because we love it when you jump on over to our website. That's why we always say, jump on over to our website. Jump up, get down. Sorry.
Jump around. Yep, I'm feeling it. Nathan.
We're there. Our website is a great resource. It's the hub of Meeple Nation. Go there to look for all of our past episodes. You can find our blogs. You can find our bios. You can find everything you want to know about the hosts of Meeple Nation and more. We have a link to our email, meeplenation@gmail.com. We would love for you to reach out to us, start a conversation. We're kind of chatty, especially Andy. I don't know why I said that.
I can be, with the right topic.
But also on our website is a link to our Patreon page. We love our patrons. We love what we're doing, and we appreciate deeply their support. And we have gone forth and used that support to produce extra content. This episode, which is a bonus content, we've released some one-on-ones with Ashley. We've had some sit-downs with Sierra. Now we need to have a moment at the game table with Amber Lee.
Yeah, and Lydia.
Yeah. Let's play a game with Lydia. I don't know. I'm just trying to associate Elle and Lydia. And
You're trying to be creative on the fly.
I am, and it's not working out so hot.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Laughing with Lydia.
Laughing with Lydia.
Ooh, I like it.
I like it too.
Coming soon to a bonus episode near you.
Yes, good times. Through the use of the Patreon, we are able to make the time and to make this extra content. We're putting forth some effort to create possibly even some video content coming out soon.
Ooh, you're announcing it.
I'm making it somewhat official.
It's taking us some work, and we're trying to do it right. So we don't know when that's coming. But yes, we are trying to work on some stuff.
So what you're saying is these made-for-radio faces are going to be on video soon.
And you'll see why they were made for radio faces.
Well, video killed the radio star.
Indeed. I hate when I say indeed.
Why?
I don't know. Because I say it too often, I think.
Indeed.
Patrons are making all that happen. We are both giddy and nervous about what we're doing. So hopefully you enjoy this content. If you do, please let us know. Reach out to us on our Facebook group page and our Facebook group, Meeple Nation Off Air. Send us an email. Give us a high five whenever you see us in the wild. It's always nice to enjoy time with all of our listeners. And thank you. I don't know where I was going with that. But
like to thank the Academy.
Yes. So let's talk about some highlights.
So I've had some epic gaming moments. Honestly, one of my bestest ever games of Clank Catacombs happened here at Meeple Nation HQ.
I don't think it was a very good game at all.
Oh, do tell.
So I was having one of probably the roughest game of Clank Catacombs I've ever had. I was struggling to do anything. I wasn't getting any points. I wasn't getting any money. All of my card draw for the deck building aspect of it was terrible.
And I, on the other hand, was having an amazing game.
Everything
really was coming up Nathan.
It so was. So I kind of went the route to go up and get some monkey statues. And anyway, I figured I'm going to go up there, and then I'm like, nothing's happening for me. And finally, I revealed a tile that had an artifact, and it wasn't. I think it was the 12-point artifact. So nothing really great, but not terrible. I grabbed it, and I'm like, you know what? My only shot at winning is to get out.
Barrel out. Yep.
And that's what I did.
I've been stung by that strategy before.
I got out, and Nathan was one turn away from getting out of getting into the purple.
Getting out of the deeps.
Getting out of the deeps. Getting out of the deeps of the dungeon. And I needed Nathan to take 2 damage. And the dragon attacked.
And the ghost.
Cubes were pulled out, and Nathan took 2 damage.
Love that.
And died and got 0 points. Now, I was still going to lose to Greg, and it wasn't Greg's turn yet. So the very next turn was Nathan's turn, which means he had to pull 4 cubes out. Greg needed to take 2 damage. So I needed 2 of Greg's cubes pulled out, and Nathan pulled through for me and decided to kill Greg as well. So it was just me and Amara ended up dying as well. I was the only one that got out. Both Greg and Amara died in the shallow part of the dungeon, so they still scored their points. But I know that Greg would have surpassed my score had he got, even though he died, he would have beaten me had he lasted one more round. So literally it had to happen exactly the way it happened for me to win the game, because it was a low scoring game.
Yeah. And I would have made some pretty good points too had I had one more turn.
That's awesome. That's cool. Gotta love it when a good plan comes together.
Well,
I don't think I loved it.
It was one of those that I thought, I have so lost this game, and this is my only chance. And seriously, the stars had to align perfectly, and they did. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yep. Through the Hail Mary,
Andy's
and it worked.
smile just kept getting bigger and bigger.
I totally cheered when Nathan and Greg, Greg died.
I was crying, and he was laughing and pointing.
I'm just sad I missed it. That's fantastic. That's really great. Yeah, Clank Catacombs, such a good game. What fun. One of the games that I was excited we got to play, this was just at game night last Friday. You guys were just finishing setting up Lords of Waterdeep with the Scoundrels of Skullport expansion, and I haven't played that for years, and I love that game. It's really good.
Greg showed up. That's the first. He's like, "Can we play Lords of Waterdeep? I own this game and I don't know how to play it." At Hug a MeepleCon in the spring, he asked if I would teach him that and Descent. We played Descent, and then we ran out of time to play Lords of Waterdeep. So I'm like, sure. And I just played it recently, so it was and it's an easy teach anyway. But yeah, we totally got that to the table, and we thought Doug's on his way, so let's add him in, and it was like perfect timing.
Yeah, it was awesome. I love Lords of Waterdeep, though. I don't think, you think back on the time that Lords of Waterdeep came out, and it uses a pretty rudimentary worker placement system. And, you've got your 2 workers, and at some point, I think it's around 4 or 5, you're going to unlock a 3rd, and you're just putting workers out and taking whatever actions on the space. But it really does some fun things with how the quests work, with the way that the rewards for the quests work, some that are even ongoing, the asymmetric sort of scoundrels or leaders or whatever they are that you play, because they give you sort of a direction, right? Like you can kind of focus on certain aspects of the game in order to score more points.
Yeah, that's your lord that you pick out at the beginning.
Correct. Yeah, that's right. And then the other thing that I think is just really awesome is the way that you build those tiles, right? So the building action, which allows you to add places to Waterdeep where you can go and take more actions. And then just the fact that they're usually more powerful actions, and so they're worth going to, but also if you're the person who built it, you get a bonus. So the way that all synergizes, I think, is really cool. And then I love Scoundrels of Skullport. I love the introduction of the what is it? The curse? Corruption. Right. The corruption. So it's this idea that you can take these incredibly powerful actions, but you're going to take corruption, and that could potentially be negative points at the end.
How many negative points are we talking, Doug?
Yeah, it was a lot. those actions were so tempting for me. And I was playing as, is it Xanthar? So, and his ability reads in such a way that I thought it meant that for every corruption token I had, I was going to score 4 points, which is true. But I still had to take the negative effect first. So it wasn't a score 4 points, just full stop. It was a sort of a negative point mitigation kind of thing.
Right.
So I think I had 11 corruption at the end of the game, and they ended up being worth -3 apiece. So I think I lost like 33 points. And it was definitely enough to make it so I did not win that game. But I didn't come in last either. I was like middle of the pack. It was fine.
Yeah.
But really good game, and I was just excited because I hadn't played it for a really long time, and I've kind of forgotten that some of those classic games that we sort of put off our radar, or just say, well, this worker placement games have evolved, or deck building games have evolved, or whatever. They're still worth going back to and playing. There's still some really great games that are a little older and maybe been on the shelf a little longer and have a little dust on them. It's worth brushing that dust off and giving them another go.
And there's some games that are in my collection that will never be culled because they are just, they look so nice on the shelf and they have such memories attached to them. And they're such great games, even though there may be newer, more improved mechanics, more improved pieces. There's still games like Medici that's out there. Although I just used Medici as a reference, there's a new version of Medici coming out that upgrades a lot of those pieces.
The great thing about that also was that Rebecca, Greg's wife, came to game night.
Yeah, that's right.
She got to play that. All the games we played that night were games that Greg owned, so he didn't feel inclined that he had to buy whatever game we played.
Especially with his wife being there.
Especially with his wife being there. So that
what
worked
a safe
out well.
move for Greg.
Good job, Greg. We're proud of you.
All right. I got the opportunity to teach and play Wandering Towers. Wandering Towers is a fun magician game. You're students of magic, and at the end...
I believe the appropriate term is wizard.
That is true. You're wizards of magic. Each year, the school has a contest, and as students of magic, we've taken the time to study and read up because we're pretty excited about magic, and we come to the tournament a little ill-prepared. So we bring our empty potion bottles because we forgot to fill them. We're in a race. So throughout the game, we have to be able to capture the essence of other players and to fill our potions in order to win the game. The game board is a circle, and there's towers that are at the first of the board. Players are going to run around the board and try to get all of their meeples or their wizards into the dark tower. And I can't remember what the name of the tower is.
Raven's Keep. Or Raven, yeah, I think so.
Raven's
Raven
Keep,
something.
yes. But in order to also win, you have to have filled all your potions. So in order to fill those potions, you have to capture other wizards under the towers. So you're going to play cards, and these cards have multi-purposes. You can, some of them can allow you to move your wizard. Some of them can allow you to move a tower. Some will allow you to move both. When you put a tower piece over a space that has wizards in it, then you get to fill up one of your potions. And the goal is to fill up your potions, get all your wizards in there. Then the nice thing about it is when you move your wizards, you have to, you can't just move over Raven's Keep and like, well, a minute, just drop my person in there. You have to move exactly the space. So if you go over it, if you overshoot, you have to go around again or try to move Raven's Keep forward. The game is pretty simple.
It is.
But the game is a lot of fun.
I had a ball with it. It was great.
Yeah. Well, you won. So.
Did I?
Yeah, you definitely did.
Oh, awesome.
But Wandering Tower is a great game. It was one that we taught Greg how to play. And it's a good thing his wife wasn't here because Greg ordered it.
I need you to order a copy of that for me. I'm going to need that in my collection.
So it's funny because Greg says he can't buy any more games because his wife gets mad at him. And then every new game we teach him, he's like, I need that game.
Yeah. Wandering Towers is pretty cool. I like it because of that aspect where, each tower, and there's no limit to how high they can get stacked, but each one is hollow on the underside. So whether you've got wizards down on the base or they're on one of the layers on one of those towers, when a tower lands on it, they cover them up. And it creates a memory game.
Yeah.
Almost like, that game where you've got like the cups and it's like, okay, you put the ball in and then somebody scrambles them up. It's like, okay, which one's it under, kind of thing. And it has almost that kind of feel where you're trying to remember Oh man, which section of that tower is my wizard in? Because if you guess wrong, guess what? You lose that action.
Yeah. And
Too bad for you.
You may have helped somebody else find their wizards.
Yep, 100%.
Because as soon as you reveal it, that's what you're doing.
Yep. But covering up other wizards is how you fill your potions, so you have to do it. It's cool. I liked that element quite a lot, actually.
Plus, I won, so it was good, apparently.
Plus, I won. That was good. Well, we're here to
Fight
some Mortal Kombat. So let us begin. Doug, what do you have for us today?
Okay, so we are doing our top 5 action point game Showdown episode. If you haven't listened to one of these bonus episodes before, basically we are using an online tool. This is Pub Meeple, where we are plugging the games in. It's going to kick out a bunch of comparisons. It has like a little algorithm that's going to compare these games, and at the end, it's going to generate a list of the Meeple Nation top 5. So we have each taken our top 5, and you can go back and reference that episode, our top 5 action point games. So we've put those into the list. There was no crossovers. So it's 3 of us here. We've got 15 games that are entering the arena, and we're going to see which games emerge victorious as the top 5, 10, whatever Meeple Nation action point games.
15 go in. Only one can be number 1.
That's
and
correct.
Ties are going to be easier. We have an odd number of people.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's no dice rolls. I'm more excited.
There cannot be any dice rolls.
Well, okay, so in the past, we have tried to break ties by saying if you haven't played it, your vote doesn't count. I think we need to go away from that. So you're right. No dice rolls on this one. We'll all have a vote, and it'll come out. There'll be a winner for each one of these comparisons, and we'll see what this generates.
So the comparison is, if both of these games were set at the table, you had the perfect player count for either game, which game are you more wanting to play?
Right. Each game in the ideal setting, the most ideal setting possible, set up, ready to go. Which table would you join, basically? 15 games that are entering the arena in alphabetical order are Above and Below, Arkham Horror the card game, Big Trouble in Little China, Clank in Space, Cthulhu, Death May Die, Dead Men Tell No Tales, Descent, Journeys in the Dark, Folklore, The Affliction, Oathsworn, Into the Deepwood, Pandemic Legacy Season 1, Project L, Radlands, Star Wars Legion, Unmatched, and Wasteland Express Delivery Service. That is a great list of games.
That is a great list of games. I was just thinking last time I kind of made a side list of this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I was pretty close on that. I don't think I could even... I mean, I have a pretty good idea what number 1 is, but I wouldn't say for sure that that's number 1.
Correct.
It's going to be number 1.
I don't know. I actually don't know. I think I have a pretty good idea of maybe the top 5. Like just, I don't know what order, but generally speaking, the top 5.
I think I know which the top 15 are.
Good. Well, you're ahead of me.
Way to flex on this one.
Wow. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hit the rank button here and let the fighting begin. So our first matchup is Descent, Journeys in the Dark versus Oathsworn, Into the Deepwood.
Oh, wow.
See, I knew this was going to be a complicated list because...
Yeah.
This is a tough one.
Both of these games offer just a ton to love.
Oh my gosh.
There is so many good things, yeah.
I got to go with Descent, but that is, and you guys know how much I love Descent, but Oathsworn is really close. Like really close.
Yeah. Well, it's Oathsworn for me. I do feel like Oathsworn, as much as I love Descent, and I understand, your number 1 game and everything, all the reasons, fantastic game. Oathsworn has just really taken me by storm. I love those boss battles. I love them. I love the art, that narration app, everything that comprises this game. Every component, every piece of art, everything is just top notch for me.
I think if Oathsworn had a little more tactical rather than just a boss battle, even some little mini battles or something, it would probably push it over for me. But
gotcha. See, and I think it takes it because it doesn't have that for me.
And that's
personally.
Funny, Andy, you brought that up, and I was totally Oathsworn, and then you bring that up, and I'm like, oh, yeah, you're spot on. That is something that's totally missing from the. I'm more on Team Andy with that, but at the end of the day, I think I'm still going to go Oathsworn.
I figured as much.
Oathsworn. Wow, I actually thought you were going to go Descent. I did think you were going to go Descent on that one, so that surprises me. That's awesome.
That was a
I love that.
tough first bound or
Yeah.
battle.
For sure. Yeah, that was really tough. Oh, I should mention here really quick. I think the algorithm, it said it's going to kick about 30 comparisons, maybe 30, 31, something like that. So anyway, moving on to the next one, we've got Big Trouble in Little China versus Wasteland Express Delivery Service.
Oh man,
That's getting so
another one.
tough.
Okay, my vote's easy. It is Wasteland Express, only because I don't think I have the same sort of nostalgia feel for Big Trouble. Big Trouble in Little China was never a thing for me.
Yeah.
And so I don't doubt that the game's awesome, but I just don't have the same.
And I'm trying to
affinity for
pull
it.
that out. I'm trying to separate my love for the movie Big Trouble in Little China and
Like both of these games set up at the
these
table, ready
games
to
set
go.
at the table.
Which one do you go play?
That is so tough.
I'm going with Big Trouble, honestly, just because it has that dungeon crawl element to it. And
Gosh, you and dungeon crawls.
I
Andy.
have a problem.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I think that's
You need to see
ultimately
someone
what
about
it's
that.
going to be for me too. It is that story-driven campaign for me, and
Yep.
it's not really even a campaign, but that story-driven game for me is what's going to take it. So Big Trouble in Little China for
Okay,
me.
Big Trouble takes it. Next up, we've got Project L versus Pandemic Legacy Season 1.
Pandemic.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Pandemic.
it's Pandemic, yeah.
Project L's fantastic, but doesn't quite compare to Season 1. All right, our next matchup is Above and Below versus Radlands. And this actually makes me feel a little bit bad. Above and Below is a good game. It is not one of Ryan Lockett's best games.
Right.
I think Near and Far is probably the best one that he has in that lineup of games. I do like it. I think it's fine. I don't mind Above and Below, but I also know that neither one of you have played Radlands.
And so that's the thing. It comes down to, if I'm sitting here, which am I going to play? Because I'm with you. I've played Above and Below, and I've played Near and Far. I also agree that Near and Far appeals more to me. So my opinion, if I'm at the table, what am I going to play? I'm actually going to go to Table Radlands because it's a new game for me and has more appeal than, and I'm not trying to take away anything from Above and Below, but the pull for me is I want to try Radlands.
Radlands, and my vote's Radlands. What would you vote?
I don't know, honestly. I understand what Nathan's saying, and I would feel very similar. The fact that I hadn't tried Radlands and it's been so highly talked up. That being said, maybe I'd just be disappointed because it was so highly talked up.
Yeah, maybe I've overhyped it. I don't know.
No, I think honestly, that would be a tough choice for me. I mean, Radlands takes it, so I don't really have to decide.
Right.
But that's another tough one. I'm going to say Above and Below just so that we can have a vote for it.
Okay.
There you go.
Noted. Man.
That doesn't matter, but it's noted.
in the great Meeple Nation logbook, we've tallied it.
Okay, awesome.
Great.
I feel better now.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, next lineup is Dead Men Tell No Tales versus Star Wars Legion.
Seriously, every one of these is going to be such a epic tale?
I think so, because this is a great list of games.
I got to go Star Wars on this one. I want to play that game so badly.
Yeah, the cinematic feel of both games is very thick, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Dead Men Tell No Tales is an excellent, excellent pirate game. Star Wars Legion is an amazing tabletop Star Wars game. And I'm going to let you choose, Doug.
So are we 1-1?
No, he hasn't decided.
I haven't decided yet.
Oh, okay. You're Star Wars Legion.
I got to say Star Wars Legion.
I'm Star Wars Legion too, sorry.
Okay, well, let me just tell you. No, never mind. My knee-jerk reaction is Dead Men Tell No Tales. However, I think that in the condition that we've created for these Showdown episodes, where you've got both of these ready to go on the table, I think if I was looking at both of them and I saw all those beautiful Star Wars minis ready to go and ready to play out there, I would probably be drawn to Star Wars Legion as well.
I think the table presence alone would draw me from most of the games on this list.
Absolutely. I would agree.
Good point. Okay, our next lineup is Arkham Horror, the card game, versus Folklore, the Affliction. You know which one I'm voting.
Yeah.
It is Arkham Horror for me.
Yeah. I'll let Andy go. I hate to just jump in with my opinion. It's Arkham Horror.
Really? But it's Arkham Horror.
Even though it's Arkham Horror.
Oh, that's another tough. I think I would actually say Folklore on this one.
I enjoyed my play of Folklore Affliction, but I've mentioned it in the past. Arkham Horror is the biggest regret of my culling.
Well, Folklore scratches an itch that just needs to be scratched all the time for me. So whereas
Yeah,
Arkham
I
Horror
see that
doesn't.
for sure.
right, so
Arkham Horror is a dungeon crawl.
yeah, kind of.
XP and leveling up characters. And
I know.
Deck building.
It's just a
and
little bit-
amazing cards and components. And,
But the dungeon crawl is not the same.
Huh. Interesting.
It's really close.
Wow. Okay, well, Arkham Horror
It's
still takes
it's
it.
adjacent, Doug. It's
Is it?
Is it?
All right. Next up, we've got Unmatched versus Cthulhu Death May Die.
oh, easy Cthulhu.
Yeah, I love Unmatched, but it is going to be Cthulhu for me.
Yeah, it's totally going to be Cthulhu.
All right, well, good. Finally, we got an easier one. Next up, we got Oathsworn versus Clank in Space.
Also easy for me.
Oathsworn.
Oathsworn.
Oathsworn. Good. Okay. Well, next we're getting back to Descent here. We got Descent Journeys in the Dark versus Clank in Space.
Descent.
Descent. Yeah,
Yep,
it's Descent.
Okay.
Descent's so good. All right. Pandemic Legacy Season 1 versus Big Trouble in Little China.
Ooh.
My decision is made. I know mine.
Yeah, you're Nathan's is Pandemic.
Big trouble for me.
Whoa, really? Ooh, okay, hang on. Now
You got to.
I feel like I'm on an episode of Survivor. Okay, because I've got the power here to overthrow.
Or The Bachelor.
No. I've never seen an episode of that.
I
in my
haven't either.
Those look so horrible.
They do.
No, but I have the
There
power
just went
here.
half of our listening audience.
I don't think so. I really doubt that's true. But if you want to tell us why we're wrong about The Bachelor, feel free to write us an email at meeplenation@gmail.com. We'd love to hear why anyone would ever watch a show like that. Anyway, Pandemic Legacy Season 1 versus Big Trouble. I do feel like I have the power here to overthrow the king, or the predicted king, which would be Pandemic, by just voting for Big Trouble in Little China.
You could.
But I'm not going to, because that would be a really bad vote. It is totally Pandemic. All right. Pandemic advances. We keep Big Trouble in Little China and we add to it Project L.
Big trouble.
Big trouble.
Ooh, man. Having not played it. No, I would want to play Big Trouble. Given these two games, I would definitely play Big Trouble. Yeah, that's easy. All right. Project L versus Wasteland Express.
Wasteland.
Wasteland Express.
Agreed. That's an easy one. Star Wars Legion versus Radlands. Yeah, this
Star
one's going
Wars.
to be Star Wars. All right. Then we have Dead Men Tell No Tales versus Radlands.
Wow.
Then there's that
some
dramatic
hesitation.
pause.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
pause there.
Huh.
I'd have to say Dead Men. Dead Men Tell No Tales. Especially if we're throwing that Kraken expansion in there.
Well, this is tough, right? Because you've got this really great cooperative game in Dead Men Tell No Tales, thematic, fun, all that good stuff, versus Radlands, which is a 2-player head-to-head. So in our scenario, where you've got ideal player count at each table,
I would still go with Dead Men.
I think I would too.
Yeah, I would too.
Okay, Dead Men it is. Next up, we've got Cthulhu Death May Die versus Arkham Horror, the card game. This is Arkham Horror for me.
Either way, you're summoned.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is a tough one.
I was
Yeah, that one is-
Arkham
that
Horror
one is
for
hard.
me.
Arkham.
Yeah, just barely, but yeah, it's going to be Arkham Horror. Both of those are not only top 5 for this list; those are both top at least 10 games of all time for me. So that's good. Good to see those getting some love. Cthulhu Death May Die stays, and it is fighting Folklore: The Affliction. Cthulhu Death May Die versus Folklore.
Man, there are elements of both of those games that I really, really like.
I think this kind of comes down to, Andy, whether or not you like the progressive campaign, like an actual campaign, over a one-off.
Yeah,
because Death May Die is not a campaign.
Yeah, that's
They're
totally what it comes
fantastic
down to
dungeon
me.
crawl scenarios, but it's
Yep.
not a campaign.
Which is exactly what I was thinking when you said that, and which is what's leaning me towards Folklore, because I do love the story arc and the ongoing campaign setting. Definitely Folklore for me.
Yeah, I'd be upset if you didn't pick Folklore. Because that's totally your style,
It is.
right?
For the exact same reason, that's why I would go with Death May Die.
And that's exactly what I was thinking too. So
You both have been uninvited to my campaign games.
Oh,
You don't like them anymore.
No, I love campaign games.
Oh.
I just want to finish some of them,
yeah.
Let's do it.
which is why it's a little more appealing to have one-off scenarios right now, because we're in the middle of so many campaign games.
That's true.
Let's finish some of them, and then I might change my mind.
All right. I'm going to change your mind.
I hope so. Unmatched versus Folklore: The Affliction.
Easy Folklore for me.
This is going to be unmatched for me, but only because of my experience playing Folklore. I do think Folklore is a good game, but I'm going to go unmatched with this.
Sorry, Andy. I'm totally going unmatched as well. those two sitting at the table, which one am I most likely going to play? Yeah, it's going to be unmatched.
Now, because this is a Meeple Nation list that is supposed to represent Meeple Nation, I do feel it would be fair. Unmatched is going to advance, but I do feel like we should mention that if other members of Meeple Nation were here, Folklore would be advancing for sure on this one.
I think so.
My stomach just growled at that comment, by the way, Nathan. So,
okay, Pandemic Legacy Season 1 versus Oathsworn Into the Deepwood.
Oathsworn for me.
I'm going to wait for Nathan.
See, that's tough because I've played Pandemic Season.
We've got to finish the campaign. Pick the campaign game.
I know. Well, that's the thing. I've finished.
I've finished
Pancake. I've finished Pancake. I've finished Pancake. I've finished Pandemic 3 times.
True.
Oathsworn, I haven't finished. I'm totally playing Oathsworn.
Yeah, we got to finish the campaign games, especially after the lecture I just got. So,
Exactly.
I'm glad to see it sinking in. All right, Oathsworn is a clean sweep. Okay, so next up we have Pandemic Legacy Season 1. That one stays versus Descent Journeys in the Dark.
Descent easy.
and Nathan just gets this like forlorn look. This like I can't believe this is happening to me right now.
Because I'm totally gonna say Descent too. I thoroughly enjoyed my experience playing Pandemic Legacy Season 1. 100%, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I haven't played Descent 2nd Edition nearly as much, so I'm going to gravitate towards that table.
Yeah, I am too. And I love Pandemic, but I'm ready to move on to a different season or have a different experience with it. So I think we're all kind of agreed on that. So Descent's definitely going to take that. Next up, we've got Pandemic Legacy Season 1. That one stays versus Clank in Space.
That's a tough one.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun.
I'm going to go with Clank.
I think I am too, but only because, again, I've experienced Pandemic. I haven't played Clank in Space once. I would go to Clank in this situation.
And I've played them both several times. And I think over the two, I would go back to Pandemic.
Okay, interesting. So another one that's noted, but doesn't matter because Clank advances. All right, next up, we've got Arkham Horror, the card game, versus Star Wars Legion. And I have a strong feeling I'm going to get outvoted on this one.
Star Wars for me.
It's going to be Arkham for me.
So this is a really tough one because the table presence of Star Wars is very appealing, but Arkham
Is amazing in every way possible.
it is, except for the visual table presence.
It doesn't have that as much as something like Star Wars.
No,
For sure.
And
Yeah,
I
it's
think
true.
even going to what Andy, I can't even remember what game we were comparing, the very flat appeal. If Arkham Horror had miniatures and was more location based with miniatures, I think Andy would be all over that game.
I probably would.
Where I'm looking at a table presence, Star Wars Legion, or Arkham Horror, deep story evolution, I'm going to go to Arkham.
Wow. Okay. I'm surprised by that, but I'll take it. I like Arkham. I like Arkham for that choice. Star Wars Legion stays, and now it is up against Cthulhu Death May Die.
Star Wars.
No one's going to be Cthulhu for me.
Dang, this is tough.
Yeah. You're the tiebreak.
Because I love Cthulhu Death May Die.
It's a great game.
It is. It really is. But
Now, hang on. Let me just appeal here just a little bit. Okay.
there's a big but.
It's not very nice to say.
Wow. There is a massive Cthulhu statue that is. It actually did come with the original Kickstarter. They've got kind of a second edition of that statue coming out with the new Fear of the Unknown Cthulhu Death May Die campaign. And one of the scenarios is your investigators playing at the base of Cthulhu. Like you actually move them around that base of this massive statue.
And it is
So,
impressive.
I don't want to hear any table presence arguments on this one.
So here's my question. Do you own it?
That I was totally going to ask that same question because I know the answer.
Not yet. Not yet. But soon.
Star Wars.
All right. Cthulhu dies. Death May Die. It died. All right. Star Wars advances. Death May Die versus Dead Men Tell No Tales. Gosh, both so awesome.
So good. I got to say Cthulhu on this one, though.
I think I'm going to say the same thing.
Cthulhu. Unmatched versus Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Deadman. My experience with Unmatched wasn't great.
I think I am just... Oh, you have played it.
I've played it once.
Okay.
Yeah, we played it with it was a
players.
4-player team.
Oh, that's why though.
Yeah, and I think that, and we still didn't hate it. I mean, I think we were all kind of surprised after when we played it. It has far more appeal as a 2-player game. It's very precise, clear cut as a 2-player game.
Yeah.
And I mean, it didn't break the game being 4-player.
No, it
But
just
I've totally forgot what the other game was.
Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Dead Men Tale.
Okay, so I
I'm
think
going to
as a-
Unmatched.
Are you? Okay, that's interesting. I think I am just generally speaking a little more drawn to cooperative higher player count experiences than I am to 2-player head-to-head experiences. This one's really hard because I have a lot of love for Unmatched, but Dead Men Tell No Tales is so good.
But again, we're looking at, you have the ideal situation for both games. Which game are you going to play?
that's why I picked the right one.
Yeah.
So you picked, sorry, Eddie,
Dead
you
Men.
picked Dead Men, and Nathan, you picked Unmatched?
Yes.
Man.
Heavy Sigh was not an option.
Okay, then I got to pick Unmatched. Ideal situation, I'm going to pick Unmatched.
You have chosen poorly.
I don't think so.
It was great. You almost made me spit out my water.
I think the diverse cast of incredible characters, just that deep bench of really fun play styles that's in Unmatched just puts it over the edge by just a little bit.
I
And
can
it's
see
something
that.
You can boom, boom, boom. You can play it again and again.
And I can see that the replayability would be high just because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, let's try this character out.
But again, the cinematic feel
For
of
sure.
Dead Men Tell No Tales is amazing.
It really is.
So well done.
Not every game is as cinematic as others, but when you have a game of Dead Men Tell No Tales, like I think the one that we did have at SaltCon that one year, where fires are exploding and you're getting off the ship and you escape just by the skin of your teeth and things are blowing up behind you and you're grabbing the rum and all this stuff. It is hard to beat that experience.
Yeah.
Okay, Dead Men Tell No Tales stays, and it is now up against Folklore: The Affliction.
It's going to be Folklore for me.
Dead Men Tell No Tales for me.
Dead Men for me too. Folklore stays, and now it's up against Radlands.
I still got to go with Folklore. I love that game.
Again, I got to go to my appeal of I haven't played Redlands. I've played Folklore. Folklore's good. My desire to play Radlands
Yeah.
trumps that.
And I'm going to go with Radlands, but again, I will just make mention that if other members were here, Folklore would be advancing. So it feels a little
Cheated?
bit. However, on some of our past lists, games
true.
that I've loved and championed have been, I feel kind of the same thing. So
Yep.
it's just how it falls. So Radlands is going to advance over Folklore. Folklore once again stays in the arena, and it is now up against Above and Below.
Folklore.
Folklore. Yeah, that's easy.
It would be Folklore for me as well. Okay, new matchup. Entering the arena, we have Arkham Horror, the living card game, versus Oathsworn.
What do you got, Doug? Tell us what you got.
I mean, I could see a day with some additional content, which I am positive is coming down the road, where it is possible for a game like Oathsworn to surpass Arkham Horror. It isn't there yet. Arkham is just so good, and it has so much fabulous content. All of the investigators, all of the campaigns, all of the extra tokens and things that you can, and my copy in particular is all tricked out. The deck building's incredible. It's going to be Arkham for me. And there's a reason it's my number one favorite game, and I don't mean to beat that horse over and over and over again, but
Poor horse.
yeah, it is a poor horse, but it is my number one for a reason. It's my number one by quite a large margin. I just don't see anything competing with it soon, but I could see a day where maybe that happens, but it's going to be Arkham for me.
And I haven't had the experiences that you've had. I don't think we've even finished the short campaign that we started. I've loved it. It's been a complete blast, but it doesn't compare with my experience with Oathsworn yet.
Yeah,
So
and our experience with Oathsworn has been fantastic.
it's been
It has.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I would have to go Oathsworn on this one.
And I'm going to go with the table presence of Oathsworn.
Okay, so Oathsworn is going to take it. Arkham Horror stays in the arena. It is now up against Descent: Journeys in the Dark.
That's actually a tough one for me because I've played a lot of Descent and it is my favorite game. And I'm going to probably surprise you guys and say Arkham. If they were both at the table, I would probably say Arkham because I don't get to play it very often.
And you have to factor that in. If I'm showing up, perfect selection at both tables, which am I going to play? I'm going to play Arkham.
You know that's the one I'm playing too. It will advance. Descent will stay in the arena, and it will fight Star Wars Legion.
Oh, that's another tough one.
Yeah, it is, but I know my answer.
Wow. I'm gonna let you guys deliberate.
Well, I don't have to deliberate it, Ev.
Which one?
My gosh.
Star Wars?
Oh, yeah, it's totally Star Wars. for me.
Okay, I figured.
Dang. Yeah, that's tough because I really would want to play Star Wars. 2-player Star Wars versus, 3 or 4 people. I'd have to say Star Wars because I haven't played it and I really want to.
Yeah.
And I'd say Star Wars just because I would want something new.
Yep.
So, Star Wars it is. Next up, we've got Cthulhu Death May Die versus Descent Journeys in the Dark.
Descent easily.
I think Descent for me as well.
Interesting. Okay, it's Cthulhu for me, so we'll note that, and Descent advances.
Noted.
All right, Cthulhu Death May Die versus Clank in Space.
Cthulhu for me.
Me as well.
Cthulhu for me, too.
Easy pick. This might be a harder one. So Unmatched versus Clank in Space.
That's not tough. That's Clank in Space.
Yeah, it's Clank in Space for me.
Really? Oh, that's right. You guys were just saying you didn't have a very good experience playing Unmatched.
No,
Okay.
I've played Unmatched more than once. But Andy's first time was, I guess Andy's only time was that 4-player one. There's so much theme that's in the Unmatched series, but there's so much of that flavor that appeals to me in the
Clank in Space.
Clank in Space. Thank you.
I'd have to think about that one a little bit more, but it doesn't matter. Clank in Space advances. All right. Next up, we've got Unmatched versus Pandemic, Season 1. Do you go with the new experience or the newer, less played experience
I'm
versus
going with
the
Unmatched.
amazing
Yeah.
repeat?
Given the option, I'm going with Unmatched.
I would too.
Pandemic.
Noted.
It always sounds so depressed when we know we're totally outnumbered. Yeah, whatever.
Okay, fine. Dead Men Tell No Tales versus Pandemic.
Dead Men Tell No Tales for me.
Yeah, it would be for me too.
I'd probably still go back to Pandemic over that.
Okay, unpack that a little bit. Have you not had
No, I've
a
enjoyed
great experience playing Dead Men?
No, I've enjoyed it. I've had really great stories with that.
You still go back to an experience you've had multiple times.
Multiple times. That experience at the table appeals to me. I guess, and I know Andy really loves the pirate movies, or not pirate movies.
That too.
Andy really loves the pirate games. And Vanilla Pandemic, not a superb game, but still just the experience with others. And I guess I should unpack that a little bit. That experience is playing Pandemic Legacy? Pandemic Legacy Season 1 with new players that haven't played it. Experiencing that experience with them. I'm not going to say no to playing Dead Man Tell No Tales at all, but having that new experience with new players, going with somebody else.
So I've never played a Legacy game more than once, and I'm curious. You know the spoilers, right? How does that affect your experience with?
For me, when we played with you, Dave, and Logan, I didn't make any of the decisions.
Right, yeah.
I tried to make the best of what I could do, but still the experience of everyone coming to that frustration, everyone coming to, oh, I can't believe that happened, or this is going to outbreak, how do we stop it? Each experience has been different.
Okay.
But the opportunity for me to have played that game, and yet you to have played that game with me, who's already played it, knows what's going to happen, was still just a great experience for me to be there. And it was the same with my wife when her and I just played it. And she made all the decisions. She chose what to do. And I was just there for the ride and for the experience.
Interesting. Nice.
I like it. Dead Men Tell No
Advances.
Tales still advances, but
Yep.
I do like your reasoning there. Once again, Pandemic Legacy is going to stay in the arena. This time it is up against Radlands.
Let's see, this is going to be Radlands for me after I just went through that big, this is such a great experience.
But Radlands would be a new experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. And I've played a lot of Radlands, but I'm still going to go with Radlands just because unless it's like season 2 or 0, I'm not looking to have another Pandemic experience.
Yep.
It'd be Redlands for me as well.
Okay, Radlands takes it. Next up, we've got Pandemic once again versus Folklore.
Folklore, baby.
Actually, given these two, I would probably go Folklore.
No, doesn't matter then.
Don't get me
I
wrong.
would-
I do believe that Pandemic is the better game, but I would play Folklore.
I would disagree. I don't think Pandemic's the better game.
I don't know. Maybe I need to give Folklore another experience because I always feel like I'm poo-pooing Folklore every time it comes up. Actually, I voted for it once, so not every time, but I would probably still pick Pandemic over that.
Okay, Folklore advances. We've got Above and Below versus Pandemic.
Seriously? Pandemic again?
Trying to find its place on the list. I would actually go with Pandemic on this one.
Andy?
Me too.
All right, I'll go with Pandemic too. I mean, I would have anyways.
Above and Below versus Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Big trouble for me as well.
Me as well. Above and Below versus Wasteland Express.
Wasteland Express.
Yep, me too. Above and Below versus Project L.
Above and Below.
I would probably go with Project L.
It's kind of a tough one. I love Project L, but I think
Just the exploration factor of it.
Yeah.
And it's narrative and everything. It's just more fun.
Yeah, no, I'm going Above and Below.
Okay, Above and Below takes it. And that leads us to the end of our list.
What? We made it?
We did. We made it. We made it through.
Woohoo!
Okay, so did Oathsworn take first or did Star Wars take first?
Arkham took first.
You think Arkham took first? I don't think so. I think
Oathsworn
won.
Really? Arkham did not take it?
It'll be a surprise.
It'll be a surprise. That was my prediction from the beginning.
You're shooting at the top games, but your orders for both of you are just barely off.
Okay.
So we'll get there in just a second.
All right.
Starting with number 15.
15.
The Meeple Nation, top 15.
Project L.
Action Point Games.
No, it's not going to be Project L. It's going to be...
Above and Below or Project L?
It's going to be Above and Below.
Number 15 is Project L. Because you guys have both voted Above and Below on that last matchup.
Oh, I guess that's true, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So
think about that. I've forgotten it already.
So that puts number 14 at Above and Below. Then at number 13, we've got Wasteland Express Delivery Service, which in my opinion right there shows you the caliber of the games on this list.
For sure.
Oh,
That an incredible game like Wasteland Express
is way down
phenomenal game is as low as 13.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Number 12, Big Trouble in Little China.
That's another surprise too. Wow. Okay.
Number 11, Pandemic Legacy Season 1.
Seriously? Huh.
Yep.
I thought we voted that up a lot more than that.
Nope, it got voted down quite a bit.
Huh. Okay.
I do think it's a great game. Honestly, the way we've set up this list is what would we play? And if it was Legacy Season 2 or Season 0, that would probably be at the top of the list. It'd be a totally different thing. But where we've all had that experience, and for some of us multiple times, I think it just doesn't climb that high on our list.
Yeah.
And it's totally fine. Number 10, Folklore the Affliction. Number 9, Radlands. Number 8, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Number 7, Unmatched. Number 6, Clank in Space, which leads us to our top 5. So here we go with the top 5, the creme de la creme.
Dum, dum, dum.
Starting with number 5, Cthulhu, Death May Die. Number 4, Descent, Journeys in the Dark. I did think that Descent was going to be a little higher.
I did too, but I think Arkham's next, and I thought it would be higher as well.
Actually, next is Star Wars.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Actually, I was kind of thinking that we'd upvoted Star Wars quite a bit. I was kind of worried that was number 1. Not worried, but I was kind of thinking that was... I still think Arkham's going to be number 1, but tell me it's number 2 now.
Yeah, Arkham is number 2.
Ooh, I was right.
What's the last one?
Oathsworn.
Okay. What you said.
So 5, Cthulhu, Death May Die. 4, Descent, Journeys in the Dark. 3, Star Wars Legion. 2, Arkham Horror, the card game. And number 1, Oathsworn, Into the Deepwood.
That does not make me feel bad at all.
It's a really
That's
good
a great list.
Such a great list. And the top 5, I would...
Solid as the day is long.
Heavens,
and
yes.
you could maybe shuffle those around a little bit. Like you could massage that depending on the play and the day and whatever.
Right.
But man, all 5 of those, phenomenal.
And who's at the table? It really does depend on that too, right?
100%. We'll go back to the fact that this is action point games. Like we put these games on the list because they are action point games. I love that Oathsworn takes number 1 because that Animus system is truly awesome.
Phenomenal game.
And the narration's awesome.
Yeah, it really
Everything.
is.
The minis,
Yeah.
the characters, the cards, the art, all of it. Yeah,
The
Oathsworn
less minis.
incredible game. My number 1 and 2 were Arkham and then Oathsworn on my list. So I love that those were the number 1 and 2, just reversed because of the experiences you guys have had with both of those games at the table.
And Star Wars
that's
was
awesome.
my number 5. And
It's number 3.
yeah.
I really do want to try to play Star Wars Legion. I'd love to play that.
There's so many great resources on BGG too to help with player aids for that.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Some great stuff. Even when I was prepping for this episode, looking up stuff, great player aids for Big Trouble in Little China. There's even stuff for Arkham Horror that just helps to condense a lot of that actions and what you can do all into one pane of glass. There's so many great resources. I mean, we should all be taking advantage of.
True that.
100%. So there you go. I thought that was really fun. Actually, I think that's been my favorite Showdown episode so far.
Great.
It was definitely the most
selection.
agonizing.
Yeah, no doubt about that. There were some tough decisions made.
Yeah, I'm sure that a lot of that dead space will be edited out, but there's a lot of pondering.
There were some pauses in there for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you have it. Our top 15 action point game list. Until next time.
We'll see you ringside. Till you get a suite, you'll always be ringside at the game table. I don't know what's up with the suite.
Sounds sweet, though.
It does sound sweet. It sounds expensive.
Yeah, that too.
I just can't get over that I'm always ringside. Aw.
Oh, ringside. That's like being front row Joe.
We'll wave at you.
Oh, is it? Is it a good thing?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm super happy about it now.
You get sweat splattered on you. You get blood splattered on you.
Salty sweat.
Salty sweat.
We'll be eating deluxe food up in the suite, though. So
Yeah.
have fun with that.
Yeah, we got the buffet.
I'm sad again.
We'll wave. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. That makes it all better. Send me some chicken wings.
Thank you for listening and being a part of Meeple Nation. If you would be so kind as to follow, subscribe, share, and rate or review this podcast, it really helps to spread the fun. You can be more involved in supporting the podcast by joining the nation at patreon.com/MeepleNation, or you can find a link at the top of our webpage, meeplenation.com. And while you're there, look at all our extra content. There are links to all our past episodes, a wide variety of blogs, pictures from our Instagram feed, and bios for all the hosts and our awesome bloggers. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all under Meeple Nation. If you would like to chat with the hosts or other members of the nation, you can join our Facebook group, Meeple Nation Off Air. We hope to see you again at a game night, a con, or maybe a suspense-driven evening of Werewolf. Thank you for listening and supporting Meeple Nation, and stay tuned for next week's episode.
Thank you so much for listening. We very much want to thank our patrons who help keep the podcast running. I personally want to thank my co-hosts for all the help they provide with both content here on the podcast, in addition to what we have available on our website. Without them, the podcast would not happen. If you too would like to support the podcast, you can join the nation at patreon.com/Meeple_nation. Or you can find a link to Patreon at the top of our webpage, meeplenation.com. If you have any questions, comments, or games you feel should be on our radar, you can always reach us at meeplenation@gmail.com. We can't wait to hear from you. I am grateful to Doug and Andy who helped me edit episodes, and I want to thank James and Kim Clark who do the editing on our blogs and on our webpage, which can be found at meeplenation.com. We want to thank Brain Detergent for our music. If you want to find more from him, you can follow his links that can be found on our webpage, or simply search for Brain Detergent on YouTube to find more of his tracks. Thank you again for listening and being part of the Meeple Nation community.